Hello everybody. Today we're going to talk about stress and the driving test and how you can reduce your stress and how you can relieve that kind of anxiety that you feel when you're going for your test and when you're on the day of your driving test. We know that there's kind of things that you can get from the chemist, and we know that you can see the doctor and things. This is not about that. This is about practical things that you can do on the day and leading up to the day to relieve that stress. We have 10 tips for you, and hopefully, if you follow them through, then they'll relieve your stress and help you to pass. Tip number one is just be comfortable. Wear your normal, everyday kind of clothes that you would wear throughout your driving lessons, and wear the kind of same shoes that you wear on your driving lessons as well. Don't change anything. Just be comfortable. You're going to be driving the car for an hour before the test, and on the test it's going to be about, it might take up to an hour. The whole thing I'm talking about, it might take a couple of hours. So just be comfortable and just be kind of relaxed in that way. Tip two is concerned with your cockpit drill. When you first get in the car in the morning, you'll be setting the seat up and the kind of mirrors, and you'll put the steering wheel where you want it, and you'll be kind of, doing everything you need to be ready to drive the car. So do that. Make sure you do that properly in the morning before you drive from the test centre to from your home to the test centre. Don't wait until you get there. Don't do that when you get into the test itself. Have it all set up, have it all ready, so you don't have to think about that. Each time there's one less thing to think about, it must, I think, relieve a little bit of stress. So have your cockpit drill done and ready. Tip three concerns the secondary controls. And what I mean by that is all the kind of ancillary controls, things that you don't really use on a kind of day-to-day basis. So you would use your steering wheel when you're driving a lot, wouldn't you? And the gear stick and the pedals and things like that. But actually, like for instance today, you can probably see that it's raining today. So on this occasion, you might need your window wipers on, or you might need your lights on. So know where everything is. Know how to turn your light switch from auto, where they just come on themselves, to actually turning them on fully. And know how to work the different levels of your windscreen wiper as well. Know that, and how to do the back window wiper. All of these things will become relevant today. Also, you can see that this is steaming up a little bit. So you might need to know where to do the demisters as well. So these are things that might not happen during your driving lessons, because your lessons might be in glorious sunshine, and because it's your luck, on the day of your test it's teeming with rain. So know where everything is, know how to do them, and make sure you have a good knowledge of everything in the car before you go for your test. Even the radio. I had a test the other week, and the candidate gets in the car, examiner gets in the car there, okay, she goes to turn the engine on, radio comes on. I have the radio on during driving lessons, just in the background, just to kind of make the atmosphere a little nicer. And they didn't know how to turn it off. So they had to sit and work it out. But they worked out in the end. They kept turning, apparently I wasn't there, but they kept turning the dial to see if it turned off eventually, if it clicked off. But that didn't happen. So they had to just click it in in the end. But if it's my fault she didn't know how to work the radio. So make sure that you know everything about every switch in the car and how it works. Tip four concerns your driving license. Okay, so have it ready. Have it ready the kind of night before, so you know where it is. Put it on the side or on the table, kitchen table, whatever. But have it so that you know where it is. So in the morning, your instructor comes and knocks on your door, says, "Yeah, I'm here, I'm ready." Then you can say, "Oh, here I go, license," and I'm away. Okay? Don't be looking for it on that day. You'll be surprised how many times I've sat outside someone's house for 15-20 minutes on the day of the test while they're going through all their drawers and everything, trying to find their license, even though they should have had it on their last lesson, you know. So it's just one of those things. Just make sure you know where it is, and your theory test certificate as well. Just have them ready so you can just pick them up and go. Tip number 5 concerns the show me, tell me questions. So you can look online and you can see all of the show me, tell me questions. They're listed out on the government website. So what you should do then is, with your instructor, go through the show me, tell me questions a couple of times just before the test, a couple of times, and then again just before the test. So you've got them all fresh in your mind. And so that when the examiner asks you to show me this or tell me how that works, then you'll know instantly. And of course, if you know that, you're not going to worry about it. If you're not worrying about it, then that's one less bit of stress. Okay, so have a look at the show me, tell me questions and go through them with your instructor. Tip 6 is about your eyesight. When you're before you go and drive in the car on your test, the examiner will ask you to read a number plate. If you need glasses, then put them on. But it's a good idea in the week before just to kind of test yourself on reading a number plate at the appropriate distance. So you still have time to go and get some new glasses if you need to, or get some glasses if you didn't realise you needed them. Okay. If you go on your test and you can't read the number plate, it won't go ahead. So again, have that ready, get your glasses ready, and then you won't need to worry about that. Tip 7 really is know the test area. Now, we're told all the time as instructors that we shouldn't take our students around test areas and we should keep off the test routes and everything. But in my mind, part of my job is to teach you how to drive, but also to teach you how to get through the driving test. And if you know the test areas, it's a bit like doing mock tests, when you were doing your GCSEs and you're kind of studying for your A-levels. You did lots and lots and lots of mock tests, didn't you? And you kind of gauged whether, and when you did your theory test as well, you did lots of mock tests. And you gauged from that whether you were ready to take your theory test. Well, going around the test areas is a bit like that, isn't it? You get to know what the questions are. Really, you get to know where the bend is, where there's always a parked car just around the corner, or where there's a very, very busy, difficult junction. Get to know the test areas, and then you'll feel comfortable about driving around them. Confidence comes from knowing what to do. If you know the roads, you'll know what to do. So that should relieve a little bit of stress. Tip number 8 for this is to do with planning ahead. So when you're driving, I know that your instructor has told you to plan ahead and plan ahead and plan ahead. And it's the best bit of advice they ever give you. Look ahead. Look what's 6 seconds down the road. However he phrases it, look at what the next bit of the next thing you need to deal with is, and deal with it as soon as you see it. Plan ahead. Plan your approach so that you've got everything in hand and you're managing the space in front of the car. And once you've dealt with that bit, once you've planned ahead and you've dealt with that particular junction or that bend or that parked car that you need to go around, then go straight to the next bit and plan ahead for that, and then the next bit, and then the next bit. If you drive like that, the test will be over before you know it. And also the driving will become very, very easy. If the driving's easy, you won't be stressed. So plan ahead. Tip 9 is about the independent driving. So the independent driving is a big, big part of the driving test now. It's a very, very big part of it. It takes up at least 20 minutes usually, sometimes more. And what you'll need to do is, in the lead up to your test, in the lessons leading up to your test, is do as much of it as you possibly can. And that means the sat nav, following the sat nav, and it also means following the road signs for somewhere. So do a lot of it. Be independent. Get to the point where your instructor no longer needs to say, oh, you need to brake now, or oh, careful because the red light's about to come on. Get to the point where none of that needs to happen. You're dealing with everything. Because if you can drive independently and you're doing it safely and competently, then surely you're ready. So tip 10, turn off your mobile phone. Turn it off before you go into the test centre, or in the kind of waiting room. You can turn it off then, but turn it off. Just recently, for instance, I had a pupil, and on the test, driving round nice and steady. Just about halfway through, apparently their phone went off, and he knew it was his mother from the ringtone. You know, he knew it was his mother, and he thought, oh, I bet she's wishing me luck here now. And it put him off. It put him off his test. But yeah, I mean, he got through it. I mean, yeah, I mean, he did all right. He passed, but he said it put him off. So one less little thing. Just turn off your mobile phone and put it to one side, and then you can pick your messages up after, and everything's fine. All right. So tip 10: turn off your mobile phone. Okay, I think I got my numbers mixed up a little bit there, but there was 10 tips, 10 things that you can do that's going to relieve a little bit of stress with each one for your driving test. And obviously, if you can manage all 10, then that's going to be a big chunk of stress that's gone. Okay. Again, this test is about confidence, really. And confidence comes from knowing what to do. So get everything organised. Be ready for your test by being independent and by driving safely and competently along the road. You have absolutely nothing to worry about. The examiners are normally really very nice. They're very affable. They're very pleasant. However, whichever word you want to use for that. They're not as officious as they used to be. They're not as stern as they used to be. And they're, you know, they've got a bit more common sense these days as well. So, you know, don't be frightened of the examiners either, because they're not scary people. Just drive safely and competently. And if you have a test coming up, well, I hope you pass. Cheers.